And the last question in the series of saying of Jesus is when disciple asked Jesus how to achieve a perfect life. And then he smiled, as always, and said, "A happy person can change many people." A happy person can change many people. Pretty self-explanatory. Happy person. So we come back to how to achieve happiness, which was the fifth question. And he went on about happy are those who are grateful, calm, those who found paradise in themselves. Happy are those who accept gifts with joy, those who seek and find, those who are awakened, those who listen to the voice for God. Happy are those who fulfill their mission and who know unity. Happy are those who draw near God, and so on. So here it goes. Happy person can change many people. And in a way, how does one become happy? And from my experience, it's a pure decision. It's decision, decide to be happy. Decision to be happy brings about happiness. Decision for anything else brings about anything else. So obviously this has to be an experience rather than an idea of happiness, and to bring it to the experience could help to connect first to how would that make you feel if you were perfectly happy? How would it make you feel? You got to feel it. It's not just imagery that covers up some idea of heaven or paradise or a world where you're simply happy for no good reason. Yeah. Now, the way we know our mind is preoccupied with lots of decisions to be unhappy. Yeah, a lot of thoughts in our library of ideas have images and projections of trauma and tension in the world and so on. But if you are perfectly happy in your own way, and I'm not talking about being happy because I have so and so, but it's because it is our inheritance. As soon as the mind stops chasing its own thoughts, comes a little lull, and in that lull, mind is not making up stories that create tension in the body. It becomes peaceful. Yeah? So it's a choice to be at peace. And from being at peace, the joy simply rises up as the most natural thing, because love and joy and peace and being simply happy comes from our inheritance that's already within us. So let's come back to, how would that make you really feel if you were perfectly happy? That feeling already exists within us. If we don't give it, we don't have it. But first we have to find it. So let's do a little exercise. If you were perfectly happy, how would that make you feel? And now there should be a tiny little glimmer, at least, if not full-blown state of being happy for no good reason, except the fact that you oozing your own inheritance. There should be a subtle feeling, at least, of like, oh, this is how it would feel. I'm not looking for an answer in words or a descriptive term. We're looking for an experience that's like a subtle sweetness within us. And now we step back and we open space for this sweetness, for this happy, to simply step forward as this mind that's so preoccupied with all sorts of decisions that will never satisfy it, or rarely. So we let that all go and we step back and allow ourselves to just feel happy for no good reason. And then just allowing that feeling more. Yes, it's not forcing it, there's no effort in this at all. It's already there, ready to radiate. If we can step back and let it lead the way. So then make a meditation on that. I'm gonna be sitting in this happiness for, I don't know, 5 minutes, and maybe then 10 minutes, and one day maybe half an hour. And then if you dare to try, spend hours contemplating what emerges, what comes as more of that very same thing. What is it like when it accumulates and you just become this radiant happiness that does not need things to be set away or things to change to sustain it. It simply is, and the mind is no longer preoccupying itself with distractions from this happy self. Because it was the denial of your happy thoughts, actually, that created a world like this, where there is sickness, suffering, pain, and ultimately death. So the way to undo it is to bring it back. And this might sound strange, and part of you might go like, I don't want to do this. But when you do those meditations, that is, if you do them, you actually smile. Now, there's 2 ways to it. When you genuinely connect to this happiness in you, it will smile you. It cannot not smile you. If you're like frowning and you think you're happy, and something's interfering with the truth. However, and if person is not happy, They are doing it like we're doing unhappiness. What do you do to be unhappy? Well, I think this and that thought, and that brings misery. That's how we do unhappiness. We actively destroy it. So this time, we're going to find out what would life be like. We just sustain this feeling, not just a thought, the feeling of happiness, just being happy for no good reason. So just allow yourself to be happy, just say yes or okay. And notice how your will, your feeling self, begins to immediately create it for you. Yeah? The will is the creative power. The mind is the inspirer. So you have an inspiring thought to remain happy. And then get out of this addiction to seriousness and addiction to work things out that can't be worked out. Yeah, because the cause of them was a mad idea that crept into that happy little self. And suddenly the happy little self remembered not to smile, not to be happy, not to ooze light, but to ooze something else. And what's worse, that something else was also then kind of covered, and a mask was put on top of that saying everything's just fine. So the cause of unhappiness came from this tiny mad idea. Now, just the other step is when users habitually so accustomed to misery, there is a trick to this which I love because it made a difference, and that was I just put on smile anyway, despite my condition serious frowny face in the early days. I just put a smile on, and interestingly enough, that smile would just begin to generate something in me that was very similar to the inheritance that's already there. Yeah. And then a happy person can change many people, because hey, when you are around happy people, what happens to you? Can you drag in some karma drama of existence? Yeah, like it doesn't fit in there. The next one, he says, slaves remain unhappy. So there is not enough happiness happening. The slavery in us, is the reason for it. It's the cause of it. Yeah? Become slaves of this capricious, unloving dictator called mind with a small m. Obviously, there is a mind with a capital M, but that's when we have this full Monty experience where every cell in our body as we know it, even so, begins to vibrate with joy. And that generates sense of freedom in us. And the next one is just that. Happiness loves freedom. If we are slaves to unhappiness, then we're not free. And then very similar practices, like if you were the happiest person on the planet, and I know this sounds very corny and new agey, but it does help to to ignite the quality that's already inherent in our will into manifestation. So if you were completely free, how would that make you feel? Yeah. And now, as soon as it arises, it comes back to the same thing. Let's stay with it. Let's not drag another tiny made idea and make a whole world out of it, but create a new world just simply by remaining in that which we wholeheartedly desire, yeah, which at the end of the day is not a big deal except just to be happy, you know, to feel freedom, to feel joy, to feel that radiant vibration that occurs when mind is no longer in conflict with itself. This creation is not on it. It's like it appears that in creation is this some kind of mad mind, but it's not. Actually, it's so tiny that it does not even exist. However, it appears to seem to be. So happiness loves freedom and joy. This is the next one. Joy is where freedom is. So as soon as you allow yourself to feel free, which really means just letting go everything that would drag you down just for a moment. It's not a denial. It's an experiment in what it's like to actually be free. Because once you get a taste of it, it becomes their return to forever. Becomes a return to our natural inheritance, which is love like we don't even know love if we have these crazy ideas in the mind that preoccupy our mind all day long. So how to achieve a perfect life? It says, understand the essence of happiness. And to understand it, right, is to be in it. Allowing it and mainly giving it, because what we don't give, we don't have. However, the ultimate love, that it's so beyond this human love, you don't have to give that. That gives of itself. That actually does everything for you. But we go, hey God, let me help you with this. God goes, doesn't require help because it's already all inherent. I said, no, I want to help. I want to do my part. It's like your part is to lay back and allow what already is to take completely over. And if it's not taking completely over, then we do these tiny little practices. Just like A Course in Miracles says, do a lesson a day. Let that undo the structures of the mind that can't see themselves being the cause of themselves. Open up to the world, and the world will open up to you. This is really important, because if we have out there projected unsafety, we're going to defend ourselves. Also, if we project hatred or anger onto the world, then we feel we're going to get attacked. So we become shielded and defensive, and defense is a really a hidden form of attack. So it's an endless vicious cycle of madness. Yeah. However, let's open up to the world. Take your maybe appearing the greatest challenge in your life, whatever it is, whether it's a form of sickness or someone at work or a friend who might have hurt you in some way, or a spouse or an ex, or a political figure, or a spiritual teacher that somewhat appeared to be doing some things that we later found out were not that kosher. Anything that arises for us personally. And then just for a moment, let's have this being or thing there for a moment, and let's fully open to it. See, right now we're safe, very likely, and we're just simply going to open to it just for a couple of seconds. It's like, I'm just going to open to it, remembering that every living being has a heart, and that even sickness is some kind of heartfelt expression of imbalance that can be rectified. So simply opening to that which we judged as dangerous or undesirable in our life. Yeah? Because as we open up, we actually drop these massive barriers we don't even know we've been holding up, shields of defense. So we just let that go, and we open to everything that's arising. Some kind of discomfort, just fully open to it. Yeah, and just for a second, and then close it off again, and notice that you actually survived. Unless you have something extremely traumatic, then I would just begin with putting it in there that maybe one day I'll encourage myself to open to it for like a millisecond. Just an idea of maybe it could be healed. Small moves. So open up to the world, and the world will open up to you. Because when we open up, begin to also radiate our love. Because we often miss the point, miss the mark. We sin, thinking if we put this shield, we're protecting ourselves. But what we're also doing, we're covering our own heart from its radiance, from its godlike presence that's living in every single being. There is no single being that doesn't have this. I'm not saying there are people who are not aware of it. Yes, maybe many. But I'm the one who sees it, right? I'm the one who put it out there. So I need to use the whole world to heal myself by change of mind, change of attitude, and as these defenses are dropped, the natural inheritance begins to rise up and radiate the way we didn't know it was actually possible. Oh, let me read the next one. If you stop being in opposition, you will become the ruler. If you stop being in opposition, you will become the ruler. And because the next question is answered very briefly, I'm going to include it in here. And the next question is, what is the essence of reality? So I really deeply look into this question. What is the essence of reality? If we express and express and express until we are hitting the essence of that expression. And he says, I is the name of eternity. Say I. Say it again. I. I'm gonna go, who is that? And you go, I. Where? Well, right here, I. Keep going. I. Sit up, straighten up, and go, I am. I is the name of eternity. There's no one else out there, really. What the world appears to be is just you projected outwards. When you realize you're the only one here, there's an essence of your being, which is the name of eternity, the great I. Self-awareness is the door to a higher reality. Self-awareness is the door. Yeah? And that self-awareness, the self is with a capital S, it's the same as I. Essence of my being. God, show me where that is. Step back and watch. Because ask and you shall receive. The minute you ask that question, you actually receive the answer. But if you're waiting for a mental of words even to come to you, you're already barking at the wrong tree. Yeah, it's not gonna come as a word. Even the word of voice for God is not something that's talking like humans talk. It's not a perception. It's pure awareness that reverberates itself, and that is the voice. That is this inner, something that takes over. And this little mind vanishes. It cannot keep itself alive with presence of the true self. Then he says, self-awareness, being aware of the self, is the key to transformation. And he goes straight into, when you find the answer to the question, who am I? You will answer all questions. What? You will answer all questions. Because that becomes number one and everything else becomes secondary. Passerbys, it's just something that appears. But this I amness is forever. has to be experienced. It cannot be just imagined or projected. It's remembering or re-remembering who you truly are. You will become, I'll go back to this. When you find the answer to the question of who am I, you will answer all questions. You will become the cause of your happiness. Yeah, because going into that place in you that radiates, that is at the core of you, it begins to shine. That is, I am the light of the world. I guarantee you it's not of this world. Same as Jesus was saying, my kingdom is not of this world. Don't look outside, it's not out there. However, if there is outside, where is that in me? So, because in me it can be undone, outside it has to be in a way manipulated, because you're the cause of it. And this is the most confronting statement. And at the very end, he looked at them all with love and said, silence reveals everything. What? Silence reveals everything. Be yourself. Capital Y. Be yourself. So to the question, how to achieve a perfect life? A happy person can change many people. Slaves remain unhappy. Happiness loves freedom. Joy is where freedom is. Understand the essence of happiness. Open up to the world, and the world will open up to you. If you stop being in opposition, you will become the ruler. And the last short question and answer is, what is the essence of reality? I is the name of eternity. Self-awareness is the door to a higher reality. Self-awareness is the key to transformation. When you find the answer to the question, who am I? You will answer all questions. You will become the cause of your happiness. And he looked at them all with love and said, silence reveals everything. Be yourself.